Well, hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Well, this is the first Todd's Take. And if you missed the video where I talked about this, Todd's Take is going to be a video where I talk about things other than photography, or sometimes maybe photography will be a little bit involved. But it means I can talk about anything. It also means that I will get into politics on a fairly regular basis. This is one of those times. So what I'm going to talk about today is the current cheerleading for this guy who shot this United Healthcare CEO in the back. And I'm going to preface this by saying nothing that I'm going to say about that negates the fact that the United States healthcare system is probably the worst type of healthcare among developed nations. I mean, what we have here is a system that allows some people and corporations to make really massive profits on the misfortune and illness of others. And that these companies make money by denying people care. I'd be embarrassed to work for a company like that. I mean, I seriously would. There's just no way I would go to work for a company like that. But what I want to get into is this current cheerleading for this guy, Luigi Mangione, who shot this executive. And what I've been seeing, and one thing, it turns out today United Healthcare says he wasn't our customer. Like, we didn't cover him. We'll see if that's true, but that's kind of weird if that's the case. But what I think is interesting and disturbing is this cheerleading actually goes across the political boundaries. I mean, you see people on the left that are cheering for this guy, but you also see people on the right that are cheering for this guy, including the far right, MAGA. So I'm going to address both of these groups. I'm probably going to PO both of these groups too. You know, if you're on the left, I have a name for you to think about: George Tiller. Now, if you're, I don't know, probably 30-ish or older, you probably should remember who George Tiller was. George Tiller was a doctor in Wichita, Kansas, and he had an abortion clinic. And one of the things that he offered were late-term abortions. Now, late-term abortions, in almost every case, the woman has been told either she is not going to survive carrying the fetus to term, or the fetus is just not going to be viable. I mean, it's either she's going to miscarry, or the fetus, when it's born, the baby is going to not live. And there are genetic conditions that can cause that. I'm doing a separate video about that, one of those genetic conditions. I have family members who carry one gene for that condition. If you get two of those genes, the baby doesn't live. Lives a very short, agonizing life. So that's what these late-term abortions are really all about. So George Tiller, first somebody tried to kill him earlier, but in 2009 in church, some guy walked in, shot him dead because he was killing babies. And of course, there was a huge amount of outrage, huge amount of outrage about this. And, you know, it's inexcusable. And I think that if you're on the left and you're cheering for this guy, you need to think about George Tiller. Because if it's okay to kill a healthcare CEO, why is it wrong to kill an abortion doctor? I don't know. It's wrong in both cases. You don't murder people because you disagree with what they're doing. People on the right, you know, you folks have this disconnect. It's just really weird. It's this weird disconnect. So if you're cheering on this guy because he killed a health insurance CEO, like the most profitable health insurance company, that means that you recognize that we've got this crappy system. And yet, you voted for a guy who's going to do nothing. In fact, he's sworn he's going to get rid of the one thing that helps people get coverage who otherwise can't, the Affordable Care Act, which some of you, for some reason, thought was different from Obamacare. It's not the same thing. Republicans named it Obamacare because they knew people would go, ooh, I don't like that because I don't like Obama. So yeah, you have elected a guy who says he's going to get rid of the ACA and also has folks like his immigrant non-government pal, Elon Musk, who wants to get rid of Medicare, which I'm on, and Social Security, which I get. These people are never going to change the current system, ever. Their candidates get money from these companies. They're getting paid not to do anything. If you keep voting for them, you are never going to see change. So maybe next election, don't vote for these people. If you can't bring yourself to vote for a Democrat because the right-wing media has brainwashed you into thinking Democrats are the enemy rather than, like our real enemies, which are other countries, then stay home. Don't vote. Yeah, I want things to change. I would like everybody to get Medicare, because it takes a whole lot off your minds. A whole lot of not having to worry if something happens. The ACA, actually, about 10 years ago, the ACA kept us from going bankrupt because we had a health scare. And we were both freelancing at the time. And yeah, we were paying through the nose for that coverage, but it kept us from going bankrupt. There are better ways. And do a little bit of research on the various ways that developed countries, do healthcare. They don't all do it the same. It's not all socialism if that's a problem for you. Well, that's it for now. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you in the next video, which will be about photography.